Yo, what is up guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a review on the moment Sergio Busquets card. We're going to go through the card as detailed stats, clips and summary, as well as the SBC requirements for you guys to get your hands on it. Before we get into all of that, if I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and that bell so you know when I upload, and comment down below if you're going to be using this card. Without further ado, let's get into the review. So guys, this is the team that I use Sergio Busquets in. I played him in the 4-2-3-1 in that DM spot, of course, ahead of Sergio Ramos, who is a new acquisition for our team, guys. Overall, guys, my first impression of this card is okay. Pretty decent at the defensive midfield spot. I did have a direct comparison in terms of Bruno Guimaraes to compare him against, so that was a really nice card to be able to compare him against too. This card is a good DM. I wouldn't say he's in that top tier, but it's a usable Sergio Busquets and it links to so many squads as well, and for a reasonable price too. This card is really well done. We'll get more into that in summary though. Without further ado though, let's just get into the review. Sergio Busquets, 6'2", medium high work rates, right footed, 3-star moves and 3-star weak foot. So the only thing I would like to see, as I'm not a skiller personally, is one extra weak foot. I do think Busquets deserves that as well, considering how good a player he is, but given the historical reference that this card has, I can understand why it doesn't have that. 8 games played, 2 goals scored and 2 assists, so not a bad return, especially from deep as well. And he's not essentially known for his goal scoring, so it was quite nice to be able to score goals with him. I wouldn't say it's ideal to score goals with him. I think it was just luck that I got through those 2 times as well, but his passing from deep is very good as well, and you'll be able to create chances with this card as well. In terms of the chemistry style, I put a shadow and I tried the anchor on him. I do think the shadow might be the best one for him, but we'll look more at that in the summary. But I just wanted to try out a couple of chemistry styles just to see how he played. In terms of the key stats, guys, the key pros of the card, of course, all the defending stats other than that heading accuracy, all very good in terms of the defensive stats. 95 composure, 90 ball control as well. Decent agility, reactions, and dribbling in general for this card. Now, you do need to boost it if you want him to be a little bit quicker, of course. His passing range is good as well. Short pass is particularly good. Long pass needs a little bit extra if you want it to be elite, but pretty decent there as well. Guys, the one thing I would notice about this card that was really great was his defensive positioning, and his awareness was fantastic in that central role. He really did hold it down in there, intercepting balls, cutting passing lanes, doing a really good job in that central midfield spot. The cons of this card, and whilst I did say the agility is pretty decent, if you wanted to be a little quicker than this card does, need a little bit of a boost. His jumping is a bit of a flaw, which is why I tried the anchor on him, because when you're trying to go for headers, he does struggle a little bit even against those smaller strikers. And of course, the pace factor on this card is another thing that I would point out as being a con. He's slightly low in the pace department, so you do need to improve that as well. In terms of the player traits, he's got the team player trait, no other traits to speak of. Would have liked the long passer trait or the playmaker, but guys, overall, I'm not going to complain too much. And now that we've covered all that, we're going to get into the SBC requirements for you guys to get your hands on him. So guys, getting into this Sergio Busquets SBC requirements, 177k on the PlayStation, 165 on the Xbox, and 206 on the PC. Now guys, it's only the one squad, an 85 rated squad. Guys, I actually think this SBC is phenomenal value considering what you're getting for this card and the linkability you have and what he's able to do. This, of course, is very inflated right now because of that Prime Icon pack that's just come out. Fodder, again, has shot up in price. So guys, if you are going to get this card, I don't know if the Prime Icon SBC runs out before this card does run out. You may have to take a hit on this to be able to complete this. You try and use some of that high fodder, but honestly, guys, if the fodder was a little lower, this would be much lower, maybe around the 140k, 150k mark, maybe even lower than that as well, considering how high the prices have shot. This would be 100% worth it, guys. It's such a great value SBC, and it's only one SBC as well. For such a linkable player, you can get perfect links to players like Jordi Alba. We'll get more into that in the summary, of course, but overall, guys, that's all I have to say about this SBC. It really is great value, and considering it's only one as well, I think it's a really nice one they've given us. And now that we've covered that, we're going to get into some of the clips that I got with him. So guys, getting into some of Sergio Busquets clips, and what you guys are going to see here is his general ability to play that defensive midfield spot, to be a real disruptor in that midfield, and to show off his great passing range, his great defending as well. Now guys, the first thing I want to get into is that defending, of course, and the main thing for me, guys, is that right there, which you've just seen, the interceptions, the defensive positioning. He's absolutely brilliant, the defensive positioning on this card. I think the positioning on this card is one of the best things about this card for sure. Maybe even some of the best defensive positioning I've used this year, and that's without instructions as well. With instructions, he was even better. In terms of what I mean by that, guys, is that he sits in the right spot most of the time, and that means that it allows you to track the runs, stop the attacks easily, and get in the way of passes, disrupt the passing lanes, create opportunities for your team to snatch the ball back, or just put your opponent in a difficult situation which they can't maneuver out of. And he did that really well. A lot of trapping and doing things like that as well in my team, which was lovely to have. One of the cons of this card, guys, and it's the age-old one that comes with FIFA as of recent, which is his pace. I really did struggle in terms of pace with this card. I do think the anchor was good, but I think that an engine or a shadow may do him a lot better in terms of A, maneuverability, or B, just raw pace in terms of putting that shadow on. I do feel like that pace does hold him back slightly. However, if I was to compare him to that Bruno Guimaraes card, I would say it's a very similar style of card. I do think Bruno is a better card. However, this card did perform very, very well considering the price tag for him and the general linkability as well. I love that about him. Again, here, look at that positioning. Comes out there without me even controlling him, wins the ball, and then you have to play it calmly with him, guys. Another con of this card is the dribbling. He does struggle a little bit in terms of turning and moving with the ball, although his agility is reasonable. He is, of course, still a very big frame, and he does struggle with that. But his passing is a big pro of the card, and as you guys can see here, he's getting a number of these through balls in, and that's nice to have, guys. When you've got a player who can play from deep with the ball, set up and create chances as well, it makes things a lot easier in your midfield when they can do the whole thing. It creates an easier transition for you as well from defense to attack. You guys can see again here, lovely long ball, measured perfectly just behind the fullback as well, and gets it on a plate for him. The one thing I would say about his passing, guys, and it's something you need to be aware of, is that if you're going to play long aerial passes, he tends to loft them a lot more than I would like. Now this is a particular passing style which a number of players have this year. He tends to float the ball a lot more. His ground passes are pretty decent, but the air ones do loft a little bit, and it allows the opponent to intercept them a lot more easily. In these last few clips, guys, again, you're just going to see more of the same. Lovely intercepting and passing, winning the ball back in the right areas. Again, great positioning for me to just take control and win the ball back there. And in these final two clips, guys, you're going to see the goals that he scored for me. The first one running from deep, picking up the ball here in the box and finishing it with his left foot, the 3-star weak foot. And this final one, some nice little dribbling movement here from him. Manages to get past the defender here and slot it into the back of the net. So guys, getting into this final Sergio Busquets summary. 177k on the PlayStation, as we mentioned, 165 on the PC, and on Xbox, and 206 on the PC. The key stats, of course, guys, that defending set of stats. The physicality is pretty decent as well. The passing is pretty decent, and the dribbling, considering his size and general movement style, and the general movement of the old Sergio Busquets, the current one in the current FIFA, this is actually nice to have as well. It's a decent upgrade. The pace factor, of course, does help too. In terms of chemistry style, guys, now there's a couple of ways I would go with this. Either I would go with a shadow to really just reinforce that defensive side of his game, as well as the pace. You can see what that does to his stats. The other way I would go with this is actually with the engine chemistry style. You guys can see what that does to his general game. I think this could be really good for him. I haven't actually tried it, and I am going to try it because I think this may be my preferred one. This is actually the chemistry style I also use on Bruno Guimaraes, who I think is very similar to this card, and that works brilliantly on him. So I think this might be the right one for Sergio Busquets as well. In terms of similar players, guys, like I've said over and over again, that Bruno Guimaraes is a very similar card in terms of capability and playing ability as well. Same size as well, in general body type as well. So really nice card there as well. And this is actually one of the best defensive midfielders I've used this year, guys. I still use him in my team to this day. So I think that Sergio Busquets is a very, very viable alternative to that card. In terms of linkability, guys, Sergio Busquets has a bunch of perfect links, of course. Ansu Fati, Jordi Alba, Sergio Roberto as well. Lots of nice cards. Piqué's in there too as well. So, and then of course the strong links too, Lionel Messi, the Spanish icons as well. Ter Stegen, Sergio Ramos, of course, Spanish players all across La Liga, as well as the other Barcelona players. Which brings me into the price comparison, guys. Now, if we look at where this Busquets sits, this is actually high considering the price of fodder right now. If we were to guess where he would actually sit around here, around this Bernardo Silva, Marcos Llorente level, in between all these icons here. Currently sitting in this level here. Guys, I believe he's 100% worth that. I think he's honestly better than a lot of these players here. The only one I would say who stacks up against him, and that's because of how OP he is Scott McTominay. But again, I think that one's undervalued too. If we were to look at where this one ranks up compared to the page ahead, if we just go into the icons and the players here, we're going up against Marquinhos here, the Freeze Marquinhos. I think that's another terrific value for SBC, but I think he beats all of these and plays in this level around the Coquelin SBC. I actually really love this Coquelin SBC. Unfortunately, I do think that Sergio Busquets plays better than this card, unfortunately for me, because I'm an Arsenal fan. He plays at a great level, guys. He is really worth that price, which leads me to my final recommendation of, if you can fit this guy into your team and build him into your La Liga team, then I would 100% recommend doing him. I wouldn't say, guys, that if you want this guy to be a defensive dominant speed player that you need to get this one. There's far better options out there, like Marcos Llorente, like Federico Valverde. I think those options are better if you want a more pacey option. However, what this card does give you is great link ability into La Liga, an awesome ability to be able to defend with a good defender, a great positional player as well, and he really does do a job for you guys. If you do get him in your team, you won't be disappointed with how this player defends. Hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, please do smash that like button. Until next time, I will see you all in a bit.